Thank you, Faye, and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport 2 for another Premier League 3 o'clock exclusive here from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we visited a couple of times in recent weeks, and we were here a fortnight ago when Gary O'Neill brought his Wolverhampton Wanderers team here and came away with all 3 points to hand a blow to Ange Postecoglou's side's hopes of a top 4 finish. They are 5 points off Aston Villa, who play later today at Luton, so a chance to go back within 2 of Villa if they can overcome a Palace side that they have a very, very good record against. In the Premier League, the last time that Crystal Palace won in this part of North London was back in 1997 when Neil Shipley scored the only goal of the game at the old White Hart Lane. Palace, under new management in Oliver Glasner, got off to the right start by beating 10-man Burnley 3-0 last time out. Can they improve their record in London derbies? They haven't won in 9 away trips against sides from the capital. Spurs make 3 changes from the team that lost against Wolves here. Udogie, Bentancur and Werner brought in. Davis, Sarr and the injured Richarlison drop out. So it's Guglielmo Vicario, Emerson Royal, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Udogie in their back four. Yves Bissouma and Rodrigo Bentancur holding in midfield. Dejan Kulusevski, James Maddison and Timo Werner in behind Heung-min Son in attack. As for Palace, they make 1 change from that win against Burnley, and Eberechi Eze is fit again to resume his place in the attacking midfield for the Eagles. Odsonne Edouard drops to the bench, so it's Sam Johnston in goal. A back 3 in this new system that Glasner is operating, of Joel Ward, Joachim Anderson and Chris Richards. Daniel Munoz, Jefferson Lerma, Adam Wharton and Tyreek Mitchell are the 4 across midfield. Jordan Ayew is with Eberechi Eze just in behind Jean-Philippe Mateta. On the bench for Spurs, Austin, the sub-keeper, along with Skip, Højbjerg, Dragusin, Lo Celso, Johnson, Sarr, Davis and Scarlett. The Palace bench, Henderson as the sub-keeper, along with Tompkins, França, Klein, Hughes, Edouard, Ahamada, Plange and Ozzo. The buglers playing out when the Saints go marching in. It's like I'm in New Orleans, Perry. Not North London. Takes me back to the Dell. It certainly does. Both teams will be in their first choice colours. Spurs in all white, Palace in the red and blue. And it looks like Spurs will get us underway, and they'll be kicking from right to left as we look high up in the west stand here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Spurs heading for the north stand in this first half. They get things underway, and immediately Timo Werner is dispossessed by Daniel Munoz. Mateta gives chase, but Mickey van der Ven will guide it back to Guglielmo Vicario. Plenty of football already today. Cardiff have beaten Bristol City in the Championship. It finished 1-1 between Huddersfield and Leeds, live on TalkSport, also in the Championship. AFC Wimbledon won that grudge match against MK Dons by 1-0. Manchester City's women top of the WSL, beating Everton at lunchtime. And the National League leaders Chesterfield walloped 4-1 at Dorking. So the points gap is still only 50 points or something like that. That's more like 20. Spurs in possession with Christian Romero, just 5 yards shy of the halfway line. Plays it out to the right-hand side, floated down the right channel looking for Son Heung-min, but Chris Richards, the American, gets it only half clear, chipped back into the area looking for Timo Werner, but very calmly chested back to his goalkeeper Johnston by Daniel Munoz. 0-0, and we played a minute on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, just looking at the formations, we wondered what Glasner would do with these wing-backs, and as soon as it came into Timo Werner, Munoz was straight on his toes, make sure he's closing them down. So when Spurs are in possession, Palace should go back to a flat back 5, and then Eze and Jordan Ayew just make sure they just drop in and help the midfield players out.
That's Perry Groves alongside me for the afternoon here on TalkSport 2. I'll keep you in touch with goals going in elsewhere. There's plenty of other 3 o'clock Premier League football, for example, and pretty much a full programme in the AFL, although games at Bradford, Colchester and Crawley in League 2 were all called off this morning. Christian Romero in possession for Spurs, just outside his own penalty area. Pass out to the right makes it difficult for Bentancur to control, but he gives it back to Romero. Now it's slid out to the far right-hand side and Dejan Kulusevski, but his ball in field ricochets off the thigh of Chris Richards, and Spurs have to try again from the edge of their own penalty area. And Mickey van der Ven has a bit of space to trot forward for Spurs. Gets to about 10 yards away from his own penalty box. Plays it short to Son, who's come deep into his own half to receive possession, playing as the furthest player forward for Spurs this afternoon. Now he's making tracks down the centre of the field, but Christian Romero doesn't spot the run and instead plays it square to Van de Ven inside his own half. Quick ball out to the left-hand side and the near side to Russell Maddison, who fires it down that near touchline looking for Timo Werner, and he wins a throw off Jordan Ayew, and it's out for a Spurs throw taken quickly. 2.5 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, just look at James Maddison. Obviously he's in that 10 position where he's a little bit free. He's trying to get himself on the ball. Spurs again have gone really inverted with Doggy. Basically he's playing as a left back, but he goes and plays in that inside left position. Emerson Royal coming in from that right hand side, so it's Kulusevski out on the right and Timo Werner's left to give him Spurs their width.
Werner on the left wing for Spurs, level with the edge of the area, plays it into the box for Bentancur, tries to weave his way through, but it was cleared away by Jefferson Lerma, only as far as Emerson Royal. Now Kulusevski, right hand corner of the penalty area, lays it off to Bissouma. Now Royal takes over, back to Bissouma once again, but he's walking away from the penalty area, has to roll it back for Romero. Neat 1 and 2 touch football by Tottenham in their inside right position. And Emerson Royal takes over, leaves it for Bissouma. Back in field it goes to Van de Ven, just in front of the centre circle. Quick ball to his left for Destiny Udogie, back in the side today after recovering from injury. James Maddison inside left position now for Spurs. Palace have got most players behind the ball bar Mateta. Infield it goes to Bissouma, centre of the half. Quick ball out to the right wing for Kulusevski, driven across by Royal and out of play by Richards for a throw. Portsmouth already in front in League One against Oxford United, Callum Lang, and Birmingham 1, Southampton 0. Koji Miyoshi puts Birmingham in front at St Andrews. Southampton having a wobble. Here's Timo Werner, left-hand side for Tottenham, gets to the byline, can't wrap his foot round the cross, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And Aberdeen lead at St Mirren in the Scottish Premiership. Don's yet to win in the league under Neil Watmore. And Zion Fleming has given Millwall the lead against Watford. Watford have lost 5 out of 6. You'll have seen on the TalkSport website this morning stories that Valerian Ismail's job has been under threat. And Zion Fleming has given Neil Harris's side a great start on his second return to the Den to start life as a manager, having won at Southampton last week. 0-0 here. We played 4.5 minutes on TalkSport 2. Goal kick for Palace, sent downfield by Sam Johnston, headed up in the air by Van de Ven. Munoz and Ayew trying to combine. Ayew felt he was shoved in the back by Bissouma. Eze wins it back just over the halfway line, nicks it infield to Lerma. Quick ball to Tyreek Mitchell, powering into the area, tries to pull it across the face of goal from Mateta, but it was blocked by Royal. Back it goes to Lerma, 30 yards out. Infield to Ayew at the edge of the area, skies the half volley, way over the crossbar into the south stand to our right. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, they moved it really well from Eze into Jefferson Lerma, and then he just transferred out to that left-hand side dance. We said about there could be space in that wide area, it's the exact rapid there. And Tyreek Mitchell, all he's got to do is in the edge of the 18-yard box, get the ball out of his feet, get his shot away, tries to pick out across, hits the first man, and then he goes for a goal kick for Spurs.
Son holding the ball up. It goes down under the pressure from Anderson, who's brought him down. Goals elsewhere. Peterborough lead Exeter by a goal to 0. Ephron Mason-Clark gets his 12th of the season. And Northampton 0, Charlton 1. Kenny Karoy Anderson putting Charlton ahead. They got their first win in 19 at Derby in midweek. And they lead at Sixfields. Here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, nearly 6 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Goalless in this London derby. Spurs in possession inside the Palace half. It's Van de Ven in the centre circle. Plays a short pass just to his left for Udogie. Werner was making a run down the left-hand side of the box, but Udogie turned away, slipped slightly, gave the ball back to Van de Ven. Now Romero takes over on halfway. Short pass into Emerson Royal, who is, as Perry Groves is saying, playing as sort of an inverted fullback at times, pushing a good 10-15 yards in field. Romero looked for Maddison, but he was dispossessed, and now Mateta chases over halfway. Van de Ven's gone with him. They've both fallen in a heap, and the ball's been won back by Tottenham Hotspur, and the referee John Brooks said there was no foul as both players went to ground, and Spurs bring it away 0-0.
Yeah, that's that Van de Ven's speed getting Spurs out of trouble there, because Mateta looked like he was away.
Good run from Udogie down the left-hand side, but a deep cross just drifts over the head of Dejan Kulusevski, and Eze tidies up for Crystal Palace. But he's conceded a corner in doing so. Bit wasteful from the returning Eberechi Eze. corner to Tottenham Hotspur. 7 minutes gone, 0-0. Oxford equalised at Portsmouth. That's 1-1. A penalty from Cameron Brannigan for the U's, who've just got 1 win in 9, sitting outside the playoff spots in League One. James Maddison's going across to that north-east corner to take this corner for Spurs.
Yeah, just overplayed by Eza. You don't do your foot overs when you're in your defensive third. So James Maddison will take the corner for Spurs over on their right-hand side, out swinging his right foot.
Kulusevski unmarked at the edge of the box, so too Bissouma. But Maddison's looking for the edge of the 6-yard box, headed out by Chris Richards, but it's retrieved by Bissouma, who gives it back to Udogie inside the centre circle. Bissouma once more. Back for Udogie. Swansea 1, Blackburn Rovers 0 in the Championship. Joe Allen putting the Swans ahead, and Derby lead Port Vale. Derby back-to-back defeats, but still second in League One. Louis Sibley putting them ahead at Pride Park.
Derby looking to complete their first double in the league over Port Vale for the first time in 98 years.
Is that your inane stat of the day?
Is it inane enough for you, or I've got another more inane one?
Can't wait for that.
All right.
8 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 0 on TalkSport 2. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you this Saturday afternoon. We've already brought you one live game where Leeds United can only manage a point at Huddersfield in the West Yorkshire Derby, live on TalkSport at lunchtime. Spurs in possession, waiting for the first chance of the game here as we approach the 9-minute mark, and Udogie overhits a pass intended for Maddison, who was making the run through the inside left channel, just skipped through on the bounce to Sam Johnston, the Palace keeper. 0-0.
Well, that's Maddison's avenue when he just comes down on that left-hand side. Obviously Udogie just trying to dink it over the Crystal Palace back three, just a little bit too much, and it goes through to Sam Johnston.
There should be a rule: when you've done that once in a season, you can't do it again. You can't do Maddison's avenue more than once in a season.
Why not?
Don't think I didn't notice. Udogie giving chase as left back towards his own dead ball line, under pressure from Munoz, hits it against Munoz and actually wins a goal kick. It's quite clever defending in the end, really, by Udogie. 0-0 goal kick.
Yeah, just made sure he's done a little bit of trouble there. Again, it's interesting with in the wide areas that Munoz again, he gets himself tight with Timo Werner, then he goes a little bit further forward just to try and engage Udogie. And Udogie just obviously very cleverly just plays it off. I think Van der Ven is struggling here, Dance, because when he had that run with Mateta, and he did brilliantly where he just nipped it off his toe, they had a little coming together with Van der Ven's left foot and Mateta's right foot. So I'm not sure if he might have just turned his ankle.
Yeah, it's certainly his ankle that he's pointing to as the physio comes on to treat him. So stoppage in play here, 9.5 minutes gone. Grimsby 1, Forest Green 0 in League 2. Harvey Rogers for the Mariners, who haven't won in 7, and they don't have any home wins in 6 for the side from Blundell Park. So 0-0 here, 10 minutes gone. You're listening to Tottenham Crystal Palace on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Luton, Aston Villa live today, contract free with a Now membership. Just search Now Sports, all the details. Rangers top of the Scottish Premiership, but trailing at home to Motherwell. Theo Bair putting the Mothers ahead at Ibrox. Van der Ven is now receiving further treatment off the field. The 30 seconds will have to start before he's allowed back onto the field of play. So just for a moment, Spurs are a man down and they have a goal kick and they want to take it quickly, and they have to Romero. Giving it back to...
They're still trying to play out from the back, and they're a man light, obviously Van der Ven's on the touchline, so Bissouma goes into the centre-half position, and all Palace do is say, right, we're just going to pressure him. And Palace in the end just left a 4v3 situation, so why doesn't Vicario get his head up and think, right, we're going to go long to bypass the press?
Van der Ven just kicking his left foot into the ground to make sure everything's all right as he waits to come back on. Udogie slips, which might allow Munoz in. His clip by Udogie down the right-hand side outside the box. Free kick to Crystal Palace down the right-hand side of the penalty area at the south stand end. It was just a slip from Destiny Udogie that allowed Daniel Munoz just to get in and around him, and then just a little nibble on the ankles. Down went the full-back free kick to the Eagles.
Well, to be fair to Munoz, Dan, he started off really lively. He's been on the front foot. He's made sure, he goes into Werner. He's one to engage him just there as the ball bounced up in the air. He knew that Udogie was struggling standing underneath it. Just made sure he got his body in between Udogie and the ball. And Udogie just shouldered him over and gave away a cheap free kick in a really dangerous position for Crystal Palace, just outside the 18-yard box on the right-hand side.
Almost at the right-hand corner of the area. Jordan Ayew is standing over it, and so too is Adam Wharton. You may pull rank here and take this free kick. Jefferson Lerma just having a rub with him. He's just gone back to the edge of the area. He's unmarked. So too is Eze over on the far side. Tottenham holding their line about 8 or 9 yards out. Here it comes from Ayew, clips in front and swept towards goal by Mateta, and it hit a Tottenham body, came out to Wharton. He tried to lash it goalwards with his left, but got it horribly wrong. Spurs goal kick, 12 gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Well, that was a good bad one from Jordan Ayew. I'm not sure that he meant it. I think he's just trying to feed it along the 6-yard box, and he's sort of shanked it, and Mateta's pulled off his marker. He said there he got a really good strike with his right foot, just smashed into Yu Basuma, who's made himself nice and big, and then just smashed over the crossbar by Adam Wharton. Spurs again trying to play it from the back.
Van der Ven's back out there for Tottenham Hotspur. We'll keep an eye on him and see how he does when he's next got to stretch his legs and get moving. Palace have it with Eze on halfway. The ball's nicked away from him, but Palace calmly roll it back to Sam Johnston. First time clearance from the England man, up to looking for Mateta on halfway, but Romero climbing all over him, got the better of him, and now Doggy sprints into the Palace half, plays it down to this near side to us to the left wing, with Spurs attacking the north stand to our left in this first half, as we sit high up in the west stand of this incredible stadium just off the Tottenham High Road. Romero clips it back to Van der Ven in the centre circle. Hartlepool 0, Barnet 1 in the National League. Gatlin O'Donkor for Barnet. And Oxford City 0, Aldershot 1. Laurent Tolai elsewhere in the National League. Here's a doggy for Tottenham. 13 minutes gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Van der Ven just drops his shoulder to get away from Mateta for the moment. Drifts out to this near touchline, right next to where Oliver Glasner is applauding Jordan Ayew for keeping a beady eye on Mickey Van der Ven and not allowing him to get any further inside the Palace half. 0-0.
Well, Oliver Glasner adopted David Brent, didn't he? Crab position where he was just going sideways along his technical area. And I'm looking at him down, so he keeps saying to his back five that he doesn't want to drop him too deep. He keeps, that movement, saying, no, keep pushing up, keep pushing up. And to be fair to Palace, they're holding a decent line, probably just 20 yards in their own half.
Newcastle 1, Wolves 0. Alexander Isak putting Newcastle ahead at St James's Park. And Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Dundee lost 7-1 at Celtic in midweek, but Will Dennis with an own goal has put Dundee ahead at Dens Park. Yeah, Tannadice is the other one, isn't it? Do you want to get that one? Dejan Kulusevski for Tottenham Hotspur down the right hand side, looks to feed it infield for Emerson Royal, but Chris Richards put a foot in, out to play, it goes for a throw 10 yards from the corner flag in front of the Palace fans in that northeast corner watching on as Christian Romero finds Bentancur, plays a little 1-2 with Royal. Now Kulusevski brings it infield across into the edge of the D. Udogie could have taken a shot but works his way away from goal in the end and found Maddison. Now Bentancur just to the right of the D, plays it out to Emerson Royal, right hand corner of the box. Little ricochet works in his favour, goes back to Christian Romero, who's forced all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Palace really are shutting down quite a few of the avenues that Tottenham want to use here. Quarter now gone, 0-0.
Well, they worked a really good avenue. Kulusevski did brilliantly coming from the right hand side. When we said about Udogie playing in the inside left position, he's on the edge of the 18-yard box. We said there, Dan, as it comes to him, he's just got to go over his right foot. You could hear the groan, couldn't you, and the moans and the sighs from all the Tottenham fans, because Udogie gets it on his left foot. That gets Ward a chance to go and close him down, and then Spurs go back probably like 40-50 yards.
Tottenham Hotspur 0, Crystal Palace 0. Ian Dancer and Perry Groves with you on TalkSport 2 as Sam Johnston comes out and hits the ball against Son Heung-min, who was charging down the inside left channel, trying to latch onto a ball from Maddison. Just overhit for Son, and Johnston decided, right, I'm going to smash this against the South Korean, and it worked out for him as it goes behind for a goal kick.
It's a great ball from Bentancur with his left foot just feeding it inside Joe Ward. Son Heung-min making that brilliant run, just bending his run, trying to get in. And to be fair to Sam Johnson, good starting position from the goalkeeper, but it was surprised that I thought he was going to come out and try and slide and smother it, obviously with his hands. Decided to smash it, and lucky for him, it ricocheted off of Son Heung-min and went out for a goal kick,
which has been taken by Johnston. Munoz flicks it down the right hand side. Down goes Ayew, who's fouled by Udogie, says the assistant on this near side, and it will be a free kick to Crystal Palace at midway point of the Spurs half, tight to this near touchline, with the Eagles attacking the south stand to our right in this first half. So the only goals we got so far in the Premier League, the only goal in the 3 o'clock is at St James's Park, where Newcastle lead Wolves. Everywhere else is currently goalless in the top flight. And in the Championship, we've only got 3 goals. Birmingham, Millwall and Swansea all in front. So Ayew to take this free kick for Crystal Palace. Wharton is there again. This is from quite a lot deeper than the first free kick they had. Spurs holding their line at the edge of the area. Ayew can only hit the first defender, but Eberechi Eze will go and pick up the loose ball, just drifts away from a couple of challenges. Then he's brilliantly dispossessed by Bentancur, and then a ball over the top sets Timo Werner away one-on-one. Out comes Johnson, makes the save to deny Timo Werner. Still with Tottenham and Kulusevski, but his chip into the box only finds Lerma, who hoops it out into the Palace fans, and the Eagles survive. What a ball through. I think it was Son Heung-min who released Timo Werner, but Sam Johnson was equal to it, 0-0.
Timo Werner never looked confident when he's 1v1 with Sam Johnson. Sam Johnson does really well, but he comes out, narrows the angle, doesn't commit himself too early. But you could hear again there was a gasp from the Tottenham fans, because Timo Werner's end product isn't going to be very good, and he's wasted a magnificent opportunity there to put Spurs 1-0 up.
Now Crystal Palace come forward. Munoz can't get away from a great challenge from Van der Ven, who slides it out for a throw-in on this near side. Goals going in elsewhere. Wickham are in front against Barnsley. Dale Taylor for the Chairboys. Wrexham lead Accrington Stanley by a goal to 0. Another goal for Paul Mullin. And Fleetwood lead Wigan by a goal to 0. That's kind of a local derby. It's not too far between Fleetwood and Wigan. And the Cod Army lead through Boston Lawal. Tottenham 0, Palace 0, but Tottenham have had a brilliant chance to take the lead. Here's Kulusevski, right-hand corner of the box. Rolls it in field to Bissouma, back out to the right-hand side. Coming in field is Bentancur. Laid back to Christian Romero. Bissouma gives it back to Romero once more. They're taking the game down to walking pace for the moment. Tottenham, 19 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Werner, who's just had that one-on-one chance to put Tottenham ahead, denied by Sam Johnston. Maddison rolls it back to Udogie. Southampton equaliser, Birmingham 1-1. Adam Armstrong at St Andrews.
Side dance, looked offside from here.
I hope. There's no VAR in the Championship.
Just looking at Werner's chance, they wanted role reversals. He wanted Werner putting Heung-min Son through, didn't you, really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's quality, then you know he's going to score.
Son finds Werner on the left wing, level with the edge of the area, faced up by Ayew. Has to roll it back 5 yards or so for Udogie. Udogie gets away from Wharton for a moment now. Bentancur looked for Maddison, but he sold him a bit short with the pass, but they still come away with possession, Spurs. But then Ayew, great tenacious work from Ayew. Eventually he's dispossessed by Maddison, who skips in field, and then he's brilliantly dispossessed by Adam Wharton. Finds Lerma in midfield, running into the centre circle. Passes over halfway for Eberechi Eze. Mitchell going on his outside. Eze flicks it back in field for Jefferson Lerma. Ball into Adam Wharton just out of the centre circle. Fires it out to Munoz, right hand side. Shapes to cross and then delays for the moment the Palace number 12. He rolls it back to Joel Ward. Ward's cross looking for Eze, flicked away by Royale. Mitchell with a attempted volley that he missed, guided back to the edge of the area. Lerma slides it in. Munoz in front of the keeper. Brilliant save by Vicario, and the offside flag goes up in the end against Daniel Munoz, but Vicario wasn't to know that and was incredibly brave in getting to the ball just before the Palace fullback. 0-0.
Yeah, it's good build-up play from Crystal Palace initially on the left-hand side from Eze. It just comes back into Jefferson Lerma. He just tries to roll it into Jordan Ayew. It's a little deflection. Looks like Munoz doesn't get it. Brilliant starting position from Vicario. Made sure he's sharp out the blocks, and said Dan's really brave because he's gone head first, got his left palm to it. Just a little collision with Munoz. Just a unlucky collision between the two players. Vicario looks like he's come off second best to it.
Yeah, he's getting treatment at the moment from the Tottenham physios. Let me give you some goals that have gone in elsewhere. Wigan have equalised very quickly at Fleetwood. Now 1-1 there, Stephen Humphreys. Swansea 2-0 up on Blackburn Rovers. Jamie Patterson with the second for the Swans. In League 2, Walsall lead Doncaster Rovers by a goal to 0. 4 straight wins for the Saddlers. They're creeping up into the playoff positions in recent weeks. Fulham lead Brighton by a goal to 0. A Premier League goal at the Cottage. Harry Wilson giving the Cottagers the lead. Carlisle 0, Reading 1. in League One. Carlisle got their first win in 9 last time out, but Reading, who had 2 further points deducted this week, lead through Sam Smith. And Wickham, as I mentioned, leading Barnsley by a goal to 0. You're up to date on TalkSport, and you've missed none of the action here because Vicario is still getting treatment, and there's a couple of his teammates standing over him looking rather concerned, Perry Groves.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it was a head injury, Dance. I think it might be just his shoulder that caught me on his knee. So he's getting a round of applause, obviously, as he gets hesitantly to his feet, not gingerly, as you was thinking.
No, you say that, and I don't say it anymore. You say it more than I do.
Quite rightly.
Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 0. We're midway through the first half.
Just looking at, Timo Werner goes through 1v1. That all started because it was a poor free kick from Jordan Ayew. He's had 2 free kicks where he's hit the first man. He should be taking off free kicks now. Put Ebriche Eze on him because he actually got really good quality in his delivery.
0-0. You're listening to Tottenham Crystal Palace on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Van de Ven gives it to Romero, up to halfway, foot in from Lerma to stop Royale getting away, but then Royale gets it back and works it out to Kulusevski on the Tottenham right wing. Has to lay it back to Bentancur, a few yards infield. Now Yves Bissouma, almost at the centre of the Palace half. Van de Ven strokes it out to Werner, left wing, level with the edge of the area, faced up by Munoz, tried to flick it infield for Maddison, but Palace won it back. Mateta, who was under pressure from 2 Spurs players, still managed to work it back to Tyrick Mitchell. His ball up to halfway is challenged for by Eze, but Emerson Royale got the better of him, and Spurs have it again. Udogie just inside the Palace half, works it out to the left wing for Werner. Tottenham in their all-white home strip, coming forward with Christian Romero now. Palace got everybody behind the ball just for the moment. Out it goes to Kulusevski on the right wing. Royale made the underlapping run, but Richards had anticipated that for Palace and smacks it out of play for a throw-in. 0-0. We played 24 minutes.
Yeah, I think Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace manager.
As Kulusevski works the ball into the box looking for Maddison. The clearance from Ward hit his own man Anderson and rebounded into Spurs possession. Timo Werner finding James Maddison. Foul by Joel Ward. Free kick level with the edge of the area for Tottenham Hotspur at the North Stand end. 0-0.
Just an unnecessary foul there from Joel Ward because James Maddison got the ball in this left-hand side, and all he's going to do is just tap it with the outside his right foot. He's going back towards his own goal. Joel Ward trips him up, gives away a really cheap free kick and a really dangerous position for Crystal Palace because James Maddison's going to whip this in with his right foot round about between the 6-yard line and the penalty spot.
This is the one the goalkeeper Sam Johnson's really have to kind of keep an eye on to make sure it doesn't drop in at the far post, although Maddison might go near post. He goes for the far, tipped away by Johnston. It wasn't going in. Johnston wasn't to know that, and we have the first corner of the game, and it's gone to Tottenham with 25 minutes gone. 0-0.
Yeah, Bentancur had his false nose and glasses on. He's just tried to go in a disguise at the far post. Great whip cross in from James Maddison.
He borrowed them off you when you were walking up Park Lane.
Oh, they've been very accommodating actually the last 3 weeks, I have to say. Very pleasant. There's only
because they haven't seen your red socks.
There's only 2 figured waves instead of 1.
That's good. It's progress. Maddison with a corner for Tottenham, looking for Emerson Royale, flicked out of the penalty area towards the middle of the half by Richards. Back it goes to Udogie in the centre circle. He leaves it for Bissouma to take over. Bentancur, the Uruguayan, looking to direct operations, leaves it for Van de Ven. Square again for Bissouma, and it's definitely a back 5 for Palace. Very, very straight line they've got just outside their own penalty area as Romero has it again for Tottenham.
And exactly what they do, Crystal Palace. They've got a back line of 5, midfield line of 4, and obviously Mateta is the one who's staying up front. But the good thing at the moment for Palace is the distance between their back 5 and the midfield 4 is very, very compact. At the moment, Spurs aren't finding a lot of space where they can engineer any chances, and everything is now, it's very lateral dancing. It's all in front of Palace's back 5.
It's Perry Groves alongside me this afternoon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Wrexham double the lead against Accrington in League 2. It's Paul Mullen at the double for the Dragons. Up to the edge of the Spurs area, Lerma manages to get the ball under his spell and hoof it downfield straight onto the head of Vicario, who appears to be okay after his injury earlier when he went in for that 50-50 with Daniel Munoz. Out to the right hand side it goes and Rodrigo Bentancur. Squares it back to the halfway line for Christian Romero. Turned around the corner by Royale once again for Bentancur. Very patient Tottenham Hotspur, very patient this afternoon, waiting for that opening. The best chance they've had when Son played through Timo Werner one-on-one, but he never managed to take the ball around Sam Johnston, who made an important save to keep Palace level. Back it goes infield to Rodrigo Bentancur, gets his head up. Immediately he's closed down by Mateta, who just fouled him. Brought down, that's a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur, just 5 yards ahead of the centre circle, taken quickly by Romero. They're trying to keep the ball moving here as often as they can, Tottenham Hotspur, and they have it again with Yves Bissouma, pretty much from where the free kick was taken. Back it goes to Romero and Van der Ven. Maddison now picks up the ball inside left, midway point of the half. Works it out to the left wing and Timo Werner, level with the edge of the area, but there's no chance of him going on the outside, it seems, of Daniel Munoz at this point. Bentancur works it out to Royale on the far side. Will he try and go on the outside of Tyreek Mitchell? No, he'll work it back instead for Christian Romero. Eastleigh won, Solihull 0 in the National League, and Oxford City equalised against Aldershot in the same division. Ball's out of play for a Spurs throw. I don't know whether the Spurs fans, Perry, might get a bit frustrated with the way things are going.
Well, yeah, it's just gone a little bit quiet, isn't it? I think it's because, as I said before, Spurs are moving the ball, but everything is in front of the Crystal Palace back.
Here's Maddison turning from Joel Ward, slips into the area. Son down the left-hand side of the box, tries to work it back to Maddison. Adam Wharton goes down. He was fouled, says John Brooks. Got away with one a little bit there, I think, Adam Wharton. He was falling to ground, but then he was caught. And Crystal Palace can clear their lines with a free kick as we approach the half hour. We've got live rugby league on TalkSport 2 in the early hours of the morning. We're going to the NRL down under for 2 games, the Warringah Sea Eagles against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and then Sydney Roosters against the Brisbane Broncos, the opening weekend of the NRL. And we've got some Super League tomorrow afternoon as well, at Hull FC against London Broncos. 0-0 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Free kick taken downfield by Sam Johnston, but flick off the heel of Romero, almost worked into the path of Eze. Palace trying to win the ball high up, but Yves Bissouma is fouled by Munoz. It's a free kick, and Wigan now lead at Fleetwood, having been behind Fleetwood 1, Wigan 2. Dello Asgard for Wigan. Perry Groves.
That was incredible there, because Sam Johnson, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, had the free kick, and the Spurs back 4 in the midfield were all lined up on the half line. You know when you start like a 1500 metre race, where everybody's on the front foot ready to start, that's exactly what Spurs were, and Sam Johnson just tried to lift it over him. To be fair to Van der Ven, he recovered very quickly.
Mateta finds Mitchell at the edge of the area, slip from Christian Romero, crossed into the box, only headed out as far as Jefferson Lerma, 30 yards out, plays it infield to Wharton, first time ball for Ayew, great save Vicario, got it on his right foot, Jordan Ayew, the flag went up anyway, brilliant save by Vicario, he wasn't to know the flag was going up. It's a free kick in the end for Spurs, but Jordan Ayew just chanced his arm from the edge of the area. Great try, but he was offside. Half an hour gone, 0-0.
Yeah, it was a great ball first time from Adam Wharton. They just let it roll across his body, found Jordan Ayew, and that's exactly what Spurs do. When the ball goes backwards, the Spurs back 4 just push up, held a really high line. Good decision by the assistant referee just in front of us down here, Dance, because Jordan Ayew was about a yard offside.
Chip downfield. Anderson wins the header against Son. Down goes Lerma. Free kick to Crystal Palace. So it's currently Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 0. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Tottenham to win at 6-10, Palace to get the win at 24-5. The draw is priced at 27-10. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. 0-0 here. Free kick to Crystal Palace with 14 minutes to the break. Taken by Johnson, looking for Jordan Ayew, who's drifted into the inside right channel, tries to flick it into the area, knowing that Munoz was making an underlapping run. Spurs win possession back, and then Wharton very strongly tries to win the ball off Yves Bissouma, but Bissouma stayed on his feet, and he's back with Spurs. Van der Ven chips it straight onto the chest of Joachim Anderson, who had cramp late on against Burnley and was a doubt for this game, but he's part of that Palace back 3. He tries to slide in Munoz, who's completely turned inside out by Yves Bissouma. Bissouma looking for Maddison, rides the challenge of Lerma and sets Spurs away on the counter-attack. 4-on-4 for a moment. Kulusevski releases Emerson Royale. Son calling from the middle, he's played it ahead of Son, and Werner won't keep it on the far side. And that counter-attack for Spurs could have been so much more. Tottenham 0, Palace 0.
Well, you've got to have better quality there from Emerson Royale out on the right wing position, because Spurs worked it really well. From Bissouma into James Maddison, just made sure he let the ball roll across his body. Great ball out to that right hand side to Kulusevski. He rolls it into Emerson Royale. All he's got to do, Dan, is just feed it into that space for Son Heung-min, who's just ran about the penalty spot and just overhit it probably by about 2 yards. Timo Werner coming on the left hand side, even he couldn't reach it with his pace. That's where you need that quality, that's where you need to pick that final pass. Just really poor there from Emerson Royale.
Lerma finds Eberechi Eze for Palace, but a poor first touch from him allowed Royale to step in, and then Eze fouled Royale. A couple of quick goals in the Premier League. Newcastle 2 up on Wolves, Anthony Gordon, and Fulham 2 up on Brighton, Rodrigo Muniz. No goals here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Bristol Rovers lead at Leyton Orient as well in League 1 by a goal to 0. 1-2 out there, less 3 the gas. And Chris Martin, their veteran, now has his 15th goal of the season. Bissouma for Tottenham Hotspur, 12 minutes to the break, still goalless here. Good ball over halfway for Bentancur. Tried to slip in Timo Werner down the left-hand side, but it was intercepted. And the ball downfield was too far ahead of Jordan Ayew. Spurs have won it back. Again, more encouragement from around the stadium, asking Spurs players to find another gear. Werner rides the challenge of Munoz, flicks it infield for Son, the captain. Now Doggy works it infield for Maddison. They're working it quickly from left to right, Spurs. It's gone out to Dejan Kulusevski on the right wing, immediately faced up by Tyreek Mitchell. Plays the ball infield to Bentancur. Laid off for Royale. Bentancur again, neat ball infield for Maddison. Slides in Royale. First time cross deflected out for a corner off Mitchell. Spurs second corner of the half at the north stand end, away to our left. 0-0.
Yeah, just moving the ball a bit quicker. Spurs 1 and 2 touch. James Maddison get himself involved. Bentancur going playing in the 10 position. Just get out onto that right hand side. Again, Emerson Royale just trying to whip the ball in at the near post. Good block from Tyreek Mitchell. Corner for Spurs over on their right.
Maddison to take it, right-footed outswinger again from the Englandman into the near post. Heads go up and it seemed to flick off a Spurs head and outside the box on this near side of the left. Work back in field to Udogie, centre of the Palace half. Romero under pressure from Munoz, works it back to Bentancur. Udogie again on the halfway line, shovels it out to this left-hand side via Bissouma to Werner, who had that brilliant chance earlier in the game. If you're just tuning in, was played through by Son one-on-one, but just couldn't get the ball past Palace keeper Sam Johnston. Bolton lead Cambridge by a goal to 0 in League 1. Back-to-back losses for the Trotters, but George Thomason gives them the lead at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Here's Maddison.
The what sheet?
Tough. Are you for Crystal Palace at 0-0? Out to this near touchline, goes down, and he's been fouled by a combination of Van der Ven and Udogie, right in front of Oliver Glasner, the new Palace manager, 49 years of age, appointed on the 19th of Feb. Made great progress with LASK in Austria as a manager, and that got him the job at Eintracht Frankfurt. Drew and lost against Antonio Conte's Tottenham when he was Eintracht Frankfurt manager in the Champions League group stages last season, and his side have won a free kick just inside their own half. John Brooks telling Joel Moore to get on with it, and he clips it right-footed into the Spurs half. Flicked on by Eze. Mateta trying to roll the defender Romero, can't do so. Chelsea lead at Brentford by a goal to 0. Nicholas Jackson at the GTEC. Here comes Spurs at 0-0 with Udogie. Great run down the left-hand side. He's got Munoz backpedaling, but the ball in field straight to Jefferson Lerma.
Just delayed it a little bit too long. He said it was a good run from Udogie. He should be playing it into Timo Werner a little bit earlier.
Now Mateta trying to roll Van der Ven inside the half, but again that's good defending by Van der Ven, who's then fouled by Mateta. Free kick to Tottenham Hotspur inside their own half. 0-0 the score, 36 minutes gone on TalkSport 2.
He's got brilliant acceleration, as Van der Ven, over that first 5-6 yards.
Werner was charging down the left-hand side again, but he was offside, and in any case another good starting position from Sam Johnston to make sure that even if he had been onside, he would have been nowhere near getting hold of it, Timo Werner.
You have to say, from Crystal Palace's point of view, obviously they've been very good defensively. It's a very Roy Hodgson setup, isn't it, with the flat back five, the midfield four in front, Mateta up front of his own. And they haven't really been a threat going forward apart from a couple of set pieces.
Eze giving chase towards the edge of the area, but Christian Romero was always favourite to get there first. Paul Mullin has a first half hat-trick for Wrexham against Accrington Stanley. 3-0 at the racecourse. 0-0 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 8 minutes to half-time. Here's Yves Bissouma on the halfway line, finds Bentancur in the centre circle, spreads play quickly out to the Spurs right for Kulusevski. Again Mitchell closing down the space, fires the ball into the area looking for Maddison. Anderson clears. Carlisle 0, Reading 2 in League One. Harvey Nibbs with a second for the Royals, and Exeter equalise at Peterborough. That's 1-1. Tom Carroll, former Swansea man, equalises for the Grecians. Kulusevski for Tottenham inside the Palace half. Just has to lay the ball off to Van der Ven. Udogie, who's quite away infield. And then Mateta toe pokes the ball away from Van der Ven just for a moment on halfway. Bit casual from the Spurs defender, but in the end he turns out of trouble and works the ball back to Vicario. 0-0.
Again, it's that acceleration. He give the ball away to Mateta, and within 3 or 4 yards Van der Ven has put on the afterburners and just got the ball back again. Spurs back in possession.
Leicester 0, QPR 1 at the King Power Stadium. Ilias Chair with a goal for QPR. Back-to-back wins for them. Palace win the ball back inside their own half. Mitchell tries to nutmeg Emerson Royal on the halfway line. He did so, but Royal was still able to turn and get to the ball first. Now Maddison in the centre circle, clips it with the outside of his right boot out to Timo Werner on this near side of the left wing for Spurs, attacking the byline, plays the ball across the face of goal. Maddison checks onto his right and left, and then back comes Joel Water, take the toe off the ball and put it out of play for another Spurs corner at the north stand end. 0-0.
Really good wing play from Timo Werner, just picked out the left hand side, got on the outside of Munoz, and Joel Ward comes across, leaves that space in behind him. Maddison gets into that space, he can't quite get the ball from underneath his feet, wants to get it turned, get his left foot shot away. In the end he's closed down, corner for Spurs on the left hand side, which James Maddison will sweep in swing with his right foot.
Northwest corner of the ground, Maddison raises his left arm. He will send this right footed in swing into the near post. It was looking for Bissouma to get his head to it, but it was a good near post header clear, I think, by Munoz, who was back doing the defending. St Johnstone 0, Livingston 1 in the Scottish Prem. Back-to-back defeats for Bottleside Livingston, but Andrew Shinney, once at Derby County's given them the lead, and Fleetwood equalise against Wigan again. 2-2 at Highbury. Bosun Lamar with his second of the afternoon in League One. Here in the Premier League, we've got just over 5 minutes of the first half to go. Goalless at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Spurs have it down their right-hand side. Romero and Eze going with him for Palace, but Romero gets to the byline, plays the ball in, but it just ricochets off the top of the boot of Tyreek Mitchell, and it's a comfortable claim at his near post for Sam Johnston. 0-0.
Van der Ven has just gone Romero, wherefore art thou Romero, because he's 60 yards in front of him, down in that right wing position, and Van der Ven's thinking, no, you're a centre half, mate, you should be back right alongside me.
You were up all night thinking of that one, weren't you?
That just comes to me.
Did it?
Yeah, I love me
I don't
Shakespeare.
believe you for a second.
Love me Shakespeare.
Stoke 1, Middlesbrough 0. Baijun Ho gives Stoke the lead at the Bet365. They've lost 6 out of their last 7. Pressure on Stephen Schumacher in his early days as Stoke manager, but they lead Borough in the Potteries. Now Palace have won a free kick with just less than 5 minutes to half-time in the centre circle, and it's taken quickly by Jefferson Lerma to get Munoz away on the right-hand side. Level with the edge of the Spurs penalty area. Ayew in support, down the right-hand side of the box, gets to the byline, pulls it back and headed out of play for Palace's first corner of the game at the south stand end, as Ayew's cross was nodded behind by Udogie. 0-0.
Yeah, good play from Jordan Ayew, just getting the ball in that right wing position, get himself to the byline. Udogie obviously stays with him man for man. This is really important from Jordan Ayew. He's had 2 free kicks dance, which he snapped hooked into the near post. He's going to take the corner. He's put his 2 arms up in the air as if to say that he's going to ping it to the far post.
Let's see. Now he's lowered his right arm and just keeping his left arm up, so he's confusing us all and his teammates.
Unless the plane's going to land.
In it comes to the near post, headed clear by the first defender, Ibisuma, but Palace will retrieve it.
Right, that's it from Jordan Ayew now. That's 2 free kicks, 1 corner, all 3 of them hit the first man. Get him off the set pieces.
It's not because they're playing Tottenham Hotspur, is it? By any chance?
No, the quality.
Oh, I see.
Just the quality.
I just wanted to be clear on that.
No, not at all. No, it's just the quality. That's one of my banes is when free kicks and corners hit the first man. And he's done it 3 times. Really gets on my pip.
Perry Crows and the Pips. It's a good name for a band.
There's a tribute band.
Maddison was down hurt for a moment, but he's okay. He's back on his feet. We'll have a couple of minutes of added time. Wrexham have got a 4th at home to Accrington Stanley. It's not even half time and they're 4-0 up at the racecourse. And Elliot Lee has scored. That's his 15th of the season from midfield. 0-0 here, and we're approaching half time. Substitution might be being readied down beneath us, potentially. Ball's gone out of play as Palace cleared their lines for a throw-in. Postecoglou stands at the edge of his technical area. Oliver Glasner turning back to his coaching staff and giving them a volley as much as his players. Meanwhile, Blackpool lead at Shrewsbury. Karamoko Dembele has given Blackpool the lead at the Greenhouse Meadow. 2 minutes of the first half to go. Tottenham 0, Palace 0. Kulusevski for Spurs down the right hand side again. Tyreek Mitchell sticking to him like glue, like he has all that first half, and he's won the ball back. And it's down the left hand side for Eze. But Eze's ball downfield is way ahead of the intended target. Birmingham City back in front against Southampton. Jay Stansfield makes it Birmingham 2, Southampton 1.
He's been around the world, hasn't he?
Again, it's just so obvious. But I'll take it as we're in front.
Route 1.
It's very Route 1.
Can be effective.
Back it goes to Vicario in the centre of his own half. 90 seconds of the first half to go. 1 or 2 supporters heading off to the concourses to get their refreshments at half time. Who goes in the happier at the break? Surely Crystal Palace with the score at 0-0.
Yeah, it's been a stoic defensive performance from Crystal Palace, but Spurs have had a lot of possession, but they've had that one massive chance. Timo Werner 1v1. If he puts that away, then it can change the whole complexion of the game.
Don't forget Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders taking your calls today on the Game Day phone in from 5:30 on Talk Sport, as Timo Werner is offside from an intended through pass down the inside left channel. So yeah, you can get your calls in to Jamie and Dean. Don't forget, on our usual number 03717 223344, you can now send WhatsApp voice notes to us, which we can use during the course of the phone-in if you don't feel brave enough to speak to Jamie and Dean live, which is, you know, in the case of Dean's kind of understandable.
What? So you can get a word in edgeways?
Yeah. And don't forget, Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy's reunited on breakfast Monday morning, and after the Manchester derby tomorrow, Peter Schmeichel will be a guest with Jeff and Ali on Monday morning on TalkSport Breakfast. And then Paul Ince, the governor, another former Manchester United skipper, he'll be in with White and Jordan Monday morning from 10. 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time that we're into now at the end of this first half. Salford 0, Gillingham 1 in League 2. And the Gills lead through Shadrach Ogie. Hartlepool 0, Barnet 2. Anthony Hartigan puts Barnet 2-0 up. We're up to date with all the goals that we've got so far in the Premier League. Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. Everton and West Ham goalless. Fulham 2 up against Brighton. Newcastle 2 up against Wolves. And Forest and Liverpool still goalless at the City Ground. Here it's goalless as well in stoppage time between Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace on TalkSport 2. They will be with you at half-time to give you a half-time classified check around the country. Here's Timo Werner, meantime, for Tottenham, faced up by Munoz, 10 yards from the corner flag, works it in field to Maddison. Bentancur's going to go for goal, he got right underneath it and skied it into the Palace fans, who gave him the way as it landed in amongst them in that north-east corner. Goal kick 0-0.
Whatever you do, Bentancur, don't you dare look down at the pitch and pretend that there's a divot that's come up, because unless a mole pops his head up or one of the sphinx heads comes up, you don't get divots on these pitches.
Oh, you wisely blame the pitch at this sort of time. Any flotsam and jetsam. Apparently Beto has missed a penalty for Everton against West Ham.
So their XG doesn't get any better than Everton's.
And Derby have a second against Port Vale. Just to confirm your inane stat from earlier, Dwight Gale brought in by Paul Warne as a free transfer. He scored the second for the Rams. Mateta wins it back for Crystal Palace. We're in added time here. Palace trying to win the ball back inside the Spurs half. It is Forest 0, Liverpool 0 at the break at the City Ground. And the ball's out of play for a Spurs throw, but they are running out of time in this first half to get their noses in front of their own supporters.
To be fair, Dan, they're running out of time, and at the moment they're running out of ideas because they've had a lot of possession.
But here's Werner down the left-hand side of the penalty area, again faced up by Munoz, has to lay it off to Udogie, left-hand corner of the penalty area, comes in field, doesn't have a go for goal, works it back 15 yards for Van der Ven. Then Romero gives the ball to Kulusevski. Royal on his outside, level with the area. Royal now faced up by Mitchell. Little step over from Royal, works the ball in field to Bissouma, and then Bentancur tries to turn it round the corner, but it's just nicked away by Adam Wharton. And now Eze watching Kulusevski. Again, Mitchell gets a foot in to get it half clear for Palace. But Spurs have it again, inside right channel, very congested round there, not much space to work in. So it's worked in field to Van der Ven and out to the left-hand side for Timo Werner. Right-footed ball into the box, headed out by Richards and beyond Mateta. And Van der Ven has to go and retrieve it on halfway. The 3 minutes are almost up that John Brooks initially added on at the end of this first half on TalkSport 2. Out it goes to Emerson Royal, level with the edge of the area, up against Mitchell. Maybe one last chance for Spurs this half, and it's whacked against Tyreek Mitchell. Out for a throw, and that signals the half-time whistle from referee John Brooks. And again, as we've seen when Spurs have been either behind or not winning here at half-time in the recent games that Perry and I have done, there's not a huge reaction to the fact that Spurs are not ahead here at half-time, but they've created very, very few chances. The best of all was when Son Heung-min hit a lovely ball from inside his own half to release Timo Werner through the middle early on in the game, but he couldn't round Sam Johnston, who made a good save in the Palace goal. Good save from Vicario at the other end to deny Jordan Ayew, although Vicario wasn't to know that Ayew was offside. But Palace have held their shape well and have frustrated the hosts, and that's why we have the half-time scoreline that we do here in North London. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Crystal Palace 0. Thanks, Faye. Players are back out then. First order of business really for Spurs is to keep a clean sheet, because the last time they kept a clean sheet here was against Fulham on the 23rd of October, and in all Premier League games their last clean sheet was at Forest in mid-December. So they have a habit of conceding, but they've been frustrated by Crystal Palace so far. There's going to be a change for... Is there at the start of this second half? No, there isn't going to be a change. I think they're just waiting for all the bibs and cones to be cleared before we can get underway. So Palace in their red and blue first choice colours, kicking towards the north stand end. Their fans are in the northeast corner of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're sat high up in the west stand at the bottom of the top tier. Brilliant bird's eye view that we have of everything beneath us. Spurs in all white, heading as they like to do in the second half of matches here to the south stand, away to our right hand side. I'll run you through the lineups in a minute as Ayew wins a throw off Bissouma. No changes from either manager at the break. Daniel Munoz with a throw, or two Colombians in the Crystal Palace side, and a foul throw. There's a collector's item for you as Munoz let the ball slip from his hands.
What is the worst thing than a player keep hitting the first man from free kicks and corners?
Well, that's worse, is it?
That's worse. A foul throw. You can make a career out of taking throws, by the way.
Well, yeah, Rory Delap did all right out of it.
Ben Tozer?
Yep. Andy Legg. Dave Challoner. There's quite a few, isn't there, really?
Me?
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Throw-ins?
Well, I had long throw. Flat trajectory.
I see, you were a trailblazer. Spurs coming forward with Emerson Royal down the right-hand side, trying to make the better of Tyreek Mitchell. Goes to ground, no foul, goal kick. Let's run you through the lineups. Vicario in goal for Spurs. Royal, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie in the back four. Bissouma, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Maddison, Werner and Son. For Palace, Johnston the keeper, Ward, Anderson, Richards, Munoz, Lerma, Wharton, Mitchell, Ayew, Eze, Mateta. Goal kick for Sam Johnston in the Palace goal, who lost his place in December but came back for the last couple of games. Didn't leave Crystal Palace as was being rumoured in the January transfer window. Can he get himself into Gareth Southgate's reckoning for a place at the Euros? Of course, every game at the Euros will be live across the TalkSport network in June and July as we decamp to Germany for the month. Back it goes to Vicario, Spurs keeper away to our left, feeds it out to Destiny Udogie, gets up to the halfway line, faced up by Ayew, out to Werner, forced back into his own half by the industry of Daniel Munoz, and it's worked back to Vicario once more. Munoz is still charging in field, way out of position now, and Spurs have the ball inside their own half. Lovely ball in field from Kulusevski, and Werner's on his bike, ready to get going, and he's set away down the left by Van der Ven. Now Ayew's trying to defend. Werner fires the ball across the face. He got too far beyond everybody, but Kulusevski will eventually retrieve it down by the corner flag. Tries to cross it in field, and it comes off the back heel of Tyreek Mitchell and out for a corner, 0-0.
That was a brilliant ball in from Timo Werner. That all started because Munoz just made sure he was going to try and close down. That left that massive gap out in the right back position from Palace, and Jordan Ayew was 1v1 with Werner.
Short corner, worked in field to Bissouma, who chips the ball to the far post. Romero won't get there. It'll drop for Timo Werner. Takes a touch, tries to fire it right-footed, blocked by Munoz inside the area. Bit of head tennis around the edge of the Palace penalty area, and then eventually Werner will just calm it down and work it back in field to Mickey van der Ven. 0-0 the score. 3 minutes of the second half gone on TalkSport 2. Brentford equalise against Chelsea 1-1. Mads Roersleff at the G-Tech. All square there, and Mansfield lead at Newport. League Two leaders in front through George Maris. It's a Palace player down on this near side. It's Eze. Meantime, Kulusevski brings Tottenham Hotspur forward. In fact, it's not Eze, forgive me. It's Jordan Ayew who's down. And there's a bit of a set two between James Maddison and Jefferson Lerma, and I think Lerma's going to get booked here.
Well, Jefferson Lerma just committed a foul on purpose stance on James Maddison, because obviously he said Palace had got a player down, so he wanted the game to be stopped, because quite rightly Spurs had possession and it wasn't a head injury. They knew that Tyreek Mitchell, it wasn't a serious injury, so they played on.
Yeah, Mitchell's still flat on his back, just inside his own half of the field, just pulling his knees up to his chest in some distress. He's now being pulled to his feet by Rodrigo Bentancur. So yes, Brentford level against Chelsea in the Premier League. Remember, Forest Liverpool was goalless at half-time, so too was Everton West Ham. Everton had a penalty saved in that first half at Goodison Park. Points all important, all ends of this Premier League table. Spurs have a free kick then, midway point of the Palace half.
All James Maddison's got to do, Crystal Palace are lined up right along the 18-yard line. All he's got to do is just whip it onto the penalty spot.
In it comes from Maddison, two around the penalty spot where it's headed out by Joel Ward. Good defending from the Palace number 2. Back it goes to Udogie in the centre circle. Bissouma right there with him. Back it goes into the centre circle for Destiny Udogie. Bissouma carries the ball over halfway. Sees Ayew coming short to close him down, so he gives it back to Van der Ven. Again, it's a little frustrating for the Spurs fans who want the ball hit forward a bit quicker. Back it goes to Vicario, 0-0.
All they wanted, even Bissouma was on the ball on the halfway line, and Dejan Kulusevski is in acres of space out on this right hand side. All he's got to do is just ping it out to him, play the ball forward, he turns round, goes backwards into Van der Ven, and that's why the Spurs fans get a little bit frustrated.
Here's Bissouma inside his own half. Gives it infield to Van der Ven. Mateta closes down the space. It's rolled back to Vicario, who passes out to the right back position where Romero hits it against Eze. It's going to drop in the area for Mateta, but before he can get the shot away, brilliant covering from Emerson Royal to get in front of him. And Spurs will try and counter as Udogie brings it downfield. Suddenly a ricochet gave Palace a massive chance. Spurs at the other end though, with James Maddison 25 yards out, just to the left of centre. Tries to play it through for Royal, who's now come forward. Ball's out of play for a throw, but how Emerson Royal was needed there at the back as Spurs gave the ball away needlessly.
Dance Mateta had no awareness about him whatsoever, because you said there, he's just trying to play out from the back. It's Romero trying to play it inside, got the block on. As it's come out there, all Mateta's got to do is get his body in between him, Emerson Royal, and the ball, and take it onto his left foot and lets it bounce. To be fair to Emerson Royal, he does really well, just nicks it off of him, just to get out of jail free card for Spurs.
So Spurs coming forward looking for Maddison, but Anderson hooks it clear. Crewe 2, Morecambe 0 in League 2. Shiloh Tracy with the second for Crewe. And Bromley 2-0 up on Halifax in the National League. Timo Werner for Tottenham at 0-0. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Gets down the left-hand side of the box, goes down under pressure, and a corner's given. Came off Munoz, and John Brooks quickly says that's a corner kick, not a penalty. Presumably, our friends at Stockley Park will take a peek at this. 0-0.
Yeah, Timo Werner does really well initially. Looks to go on the outside of Munoz. Munoz doesn't get anywhere near the ball dance. He doesn't get a touch on the ball, and I'm just looking at it. He's kicked Timo Werner's right foot. This will go to VAR because I said Munoz gets nowhere near the ball.
Well, Tom Brooks is not putting his finger in his ear. There's no sign on the Jumbotron screens that VAR is getting involved. We play on.
Dad, I think that's a penalty. I think that's a penalty.
So Maddison will have the corner kick in the southeast corner on the far side of the field from us. Right-footed in swinger. Good whip on that corner. Just missed out Royale Son with his back to goal, trying to twist and turn and get the shot away. Blocked by Mitchell, and then Richards hits the ball against Son, and it deflects behind for a Crystal Palace goal kick. 8 minutes gone. It must have been a heart-in-mouth moment for Daniel Munoz going in with that challenge on Timo Werner, but no penalty given, and Palace survived 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
There's a really good block from Jefferson Lerma to drop to Son Heung-min. He spun on the sixpence, got his shot away, but Jefferson Lerma made sure that he got his hands behind his back, got his body in front of it, and then it ricocheted back off of Son Heung-min for a goal kick for Palace, who are now in possession.
Working it back to their goalkeeper Sam Johnston. Swindon 0, Harrogate 1 in League 2. Anthony O'Connor puts Harrogate ahead of the county ground. Given away by Mitchell. Spurs coming forward down the right-hand side with Kulusevski. Early ball to the box. Son hits the post with a right-footed effort. Brilliant first-time shot from Son. Johnston was beaten, but it smacked against the upright. Kulusevski tries to pull the ball across the face of goal. Looking for Son, and Palace will get it half clear. One back by Romero. Now it's Royale finding Kulusevski level with the edge of the area. Brilliant right-footed effort from Son Heung-min. And it's smacked against the foot of the post and rebounded back into play. That's woken the crowd up. 0-0.
Yeah, I think it was a penalty on Timo Werner, and then brilliant play from Kulusevski on the right-hand side. Gets his cross into Son. Son gets it across his body, smacks the ball against the post.
Here's Werner into the area for Destiny Udogie, trying to square it across, and he hit it against himself in the end, and it goes behind for a Crystal Palace goal kick. More football, Monday night game night on TalkSport, 7 o'clock on Monday. Sheffield United against Arsenal. All the build-up and commentary from Sam Matterpace and Danny Murphy at 8 p.m. Adrian Durham there hosting. And we've got some commentaries from the EFL in the week. Leeds against Stoke on Tuesday night on TalkSport 2 here at 7:45. And Southampton against Preston is our Wednesday night offering on TalkSport 2 at 7:45. Whilst Manchester City's second leg in the Champions League last 16 against Copenhagen, that's on TalkSport at the same time.
I think that the penalty, well, I think it is a penalty, Munoz on Timo Werner, he goes outside of him. If that's given, it's not overturned, is it? And I don't understand why VAR's not had a look at it.
Well, I'd rather VAR wasn't there at all, but you know my feeling.
Yeah, I agree, but do you not think... Well,
it is odd that we only saw the one angle, so hard to tell. Munoz's foot is planted and Werner kicks the back of it. That's why it's not a penalty, says Mike Dean.
That means it's a penalty then.
Now Tyreek Mitchell wins the ball back just over halfway, and that forces Van der Ven to come across in a no-nonsense clearance out for a throw. Wickham 2, Barnsley 1. Wickham back in front through Kieran Sadlier at Adams Park. That's in League 1. And in League 2, Salford 0, Gillingham 2. Stephen Clemence's side further clear through Timothée Dieng at the Peninsula. Sam Johnston, Palace goalkeeper, first time right-footed clearance. We played 11 minutes in the second half on TalkSport 2. It remains Tottenham Hotspur 0, Crystal Palace 0. Kulusevski trying to outpace Richards down the Spurs right, but Richards gives the ball back to Sam Johnston, and a very calm chipped clearance down the right-hand side. But Munoz is dispossessed by Maddison, who turns away from his man, moves in field, gets up to the edge of the area. James Maddison shapes to shoot, flicks it out to the left, and Werner has to backtrack a little to receive possession. And it goes to Yves Bissouma. Bissouma further infield for Bentancur. And Maddison was caught on his heels, and Mateta can bring the ball away for Palace and find Eze on halfway. Eberechi Eze, he's got Christian Romero backpedaling. Lerma making the overlap. Eze goes down to the edge of the area, brought down by Bentancur. Yellow card for the Uruguayan. And now Crystal Palace have a free kick in position A, just to the left of centre for a right-footed hit at the edge of the area, 0-0.
It's the first time that Eberechi Eze's had that sort of bit of freedom, bit of space, just cutting in from the left-hand side. He goes to go across. Bentancur, trying to get back and protect his two centre-halves. To be fair, it was a really good run from Eberechi Eze. Now, this is Eze territory, Dan, so you said there. Right-footed, just outside the D, left-hand side.
Everton 1, West Ham 0. Beto, who is in the side today for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, gives Everton the lead at Goodison Park. It's 0-0 here, but now Crystal Palace have a free kick, and it's just next to the D, to the left of centre. Eberechi Eze, hands on hips, waiting next to the ball. QPR 2-0 up at Leicester. What a wobble the Foxes are having. Sinclair Armstrong, their young striker for QPR, has given them a 2-0 lead. On Reading 3-0 up at Carlisle. There's a draft excluder behind a four-man
James Maddison just having a little rest.
Yes, leaning on his left elbow, as Eze takes 2 or 3 steps back from the ball, and then a step just to his left. There's a 3-man Palace wall to the right of the Tottenham wall. Up steps Eze, right-footed, curls it in! Fantastic free kick! He is back with a bang! Eberechi Eze scores for Crystal Palace. Delirium in that northeast corner, and once he'd won the free kick, you sensed he was going to get it on target, and Vicario was grasping for thin air. What a return for Eberechi Eze, and Crystal Palace lead at Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs 0, Palace 1.
Dance, we said it was Eberechi Eze's territory. There's an invasion here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from Crystal Palace at the moment, because it's the top quality free kick from Eze. Vicario's got his wall lined up. As you said, Dance, there's a 3-man Crystal Palace wall. That's the area he's going for. Vicario just takes a little step to his right-hand side, and that's just clipped Vicario's left-hand post. Give Vicario absolutely no chance whatsoever. What a fantastic free kick from Eze to put Crystal Palace 1-0 up against Tottenham Hotspur here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Joins Edouard and Elise as joint top scorer in the Premier League for Crystal Palace this season with 6. Eberechi Eze, fantastic free kick, and once again Spurs concede, and they've conceded first as they bid to get back in touch with Villa in the top 4. The Palace fans are making a right old racket in that northeast corner. You're listening to TalkSport, TalkSport 2, an hour gone. Spurs 0, Palace 1. Spurs trying to respond. Maddison on the left wing, checks onto his right, then onto his left again, drives the ball into the near post. It deflected off Munoz, but it was cleared away by Chris Richards, and then Eze runs into Van der Ven, and now Ayew giving chase, and we'll get to the ball on halfway on the far side of the field, and just clips it down the right hand side very intelligently for Daniel Munoz. Cross comes Van der Ven, puts it out of play for a throw. Rangers equalise against Motherwell 1-1 at Ibrox, and Wycombe 2, Barnsley 2. Barnsley equalised for a second time through Donovan Pines, and Leicester get a goal back against QPR. Leicester 1, QPR 2. Ben Nelson, their young defender, gets them back in the game. Leicester, remember, back-to-back league defeats for the leaders. Brendan Johnson going to be coming on shortly for Tottenham Hotspur. Ange Postecoglou deciding to ring the changes as Spurs are behind on the hour. Birmingham City 2, Southampton 2. David Brooks, what a loan signing he is for Southampton, brings them level 10 minutes into the second half. I'm amazed Bournemouth let him go. Kulusevski down the right hand side for Tottenham, gets the better of Mitchell, drives it into Son at the edge of the area, lays it off for Timo Werner, beaten away by Sam Johnston for a corner. I'm not sure Werner got hold of that the way he wanted. Johnston still had to make the save. He turned it round the post for a Spurs corner, their 5th of the game. 1-0 Palace.
Yeah, it's worked really well from Spurs' right hand side from Son Heung-min, and just rolls it out to Timo Werner. He said there, Dance, he actually hit the ball, he scuffed it into the ground. Munoz tried to get the block on, corner for Spurs.
Taken by Maddison and flicked on at the near post by a Palace player, and behind for another corner. Van der Ven was very close to getting something on that. of that near post. Brennan Johnson just getting some final instructions from Ange Postecoglou beneath us. Maddison sends the left corner in. Flicked on by Ward at the near post. Wharton lets it bounce. That allowed Kulusevski to get something on it. But Palace managed to get the ball clear. And Jefferson Lerma lays it down this left-hand side for Jean-Philippe Mateta, who won't outpace Van der Ven. He's got the measure of him this afternoon, Van der Ven. But he's gone down clutching his left shoulder as he fell awkwardly, Mickey Van der Ven, and picking himself up very slowly. And the referee has noticed that and has brought play to a halt. Derby 3, Port Vale 0. Louis Sibley with his second of the afternoon. Fleetwood in front against Wigan. 3-2 now, Wigan at Highbury. Gavin Kilkenny. Doncaster equalising League 2 at Walsall. That's 1-1 Kyle Hurst. It is Rodrigo Bentancur that is making way for Brennan Johnson to come onto the field. So Bentancur, who was booked in the first half, comes off, and the former Forest man comes on to replace him. He's the man, of course, Perry, who was the man that scored the winner when we were here when Spurs came from behind to beat Brighton 2-1.
Yeah, it was a brilliant cross with it from Son Heung-min from the left-hand side, which he made a brilliant run. Brennan Johnson to the far post and just smashed it.
Well, let's see what that does to the shape, because that's a winger or attacking midfielder coming on for a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, it just obviously looks like first
Kulusevski's pushed in.
Yeah, Kulusevski's going to go infield and get himself close to Son Heung-min.
Everton 1, West Ham 1. Kurt Zouma equalises for the Hammers at Goodison Park. Going to be changes afoot in just a few short moments here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and they lead with 63 minutes gone, and Jordan Ayew runs into Van der Ven, who hooks it clear. Munoz guides it infield, but it's picked up by Destiny Udogie. Werner's on his bike again down the left-hand side, but the ball only finds him after a slight deflection, so he couldn't run onto it at full pace. Hit it against the left boot of Adam Wharton. Wharton now trying to have a nibble at Bissouma. Bissouma works it out to the right-hand side, and Dejan Kulusevski. Johnson on the right wing, level with the edge of the area. Comes in field, good foot in from Tyreek Mitchell to get it away. Bissouma up to the edge of the area. Cleared away by Palace. Mateta held up by Romero. Good work from Jean-Philippe Mateta. Just nicked it out to Jordan Ayew on the right-hand side, and now Munoz will calm things down. Maddison wins it back though for Tottenham Hotspur. Plays it down the left-hand side of the box for Timo Werner. Can he keep it in play? He can. Gets the crossing. Side of the near post. Johnson hooks it over the top. Came to him very quickly, 6 yards out, and he sliced it over the bar for a Crystal Palace goal kick. 64 minutes gone. You're listening to Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 1 on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Luton against Aston Villa live today, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Plymouth 0, Ipswich 1. Brendan Galloway with an own goal. And also Birmingham 2, Southampton 3. Shea Adams against his old club. And here comes Matthias França for the goal scorer for Crystal Palace. Eberechi Eze is returning with a goal as a Crystal Palace player from injury. My, how they've missed him, Perry Groves.
They have missed him, Dance, and that was said the one time before the free kick, he had that little bit of space, didn't he, coming in from this inside left position. He cut across Bentancur. He's the one who got brought down for the free kick. Got himself up, put the ball down and bent it inside Vicario's left-hand post. Top quality player, top quality goal. Now can we see if Spurs can react, because you said there, Dance, Brennan Johnson's come to give width on this right-hand side. Timo Werner's gone out onto the left-hand side. Kulusevski will go central and get himself alongside Son, and that means James Maddison will probably play that a little bit deeper. You know, they'll put him in that quarterback position, see if he can get himself on the ball.
Which he is now on halfway for Tottenham Hotspur. Bolton 2, Cambridge 0. Aaron Collins for the Trotters in League 1. So Matthias França, the young Brazil under-20 attacking midfielder, joined from Flamengo in the summer. He's on for Crystal Palace in place of Eze. Son wins a corner off Chris Richards at the south stand end to our right. Once again, Tottenham Hotspur have got to work it from behind in a Premier League fixture here in front of their own fans. Corner to Spurs, though, that Maddison's preparing to take on this right-hand side. There is the option of Dejan Kulusevski coming short, but Maddison's just ignoring him.
He's just given the assistant referee a massive volley because he got on his way as he went to take the free kick, the corner kick.
Now he takes it right-footed into the near post. It's the first defender, Joel Ward, Perry Grove's favourite thing, and Ward heads it clear.
Right, I'll give him one more chance.
Maddison.
James Maddison.
Maddison inside right position, midway point of the half. Out to Kulusevski on the right-hand side. 1-0 to Palace if you're just tuning into TalkSport 2. Eberechi Eze with a brilliant second half free kick. Floated into the box by Kulusevski. Header up in the air is well defended by Joel Ward, and that allowed Sam Johnston to come and pluck the ball out of the air and calm things down for Crystal Palace. So he will just take his time, roll the ball to the edge of the area, will he? No, he clears from hands. Swansea 2, Blackburn 1. Sammy Smodic, who scored in the week in the Cup, gets one back for Blackburn at the Swansea.com stadium, and that big relegation at the battle at the bottom. Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. I think that's 6 goals in next to no time for Ike Ukpo for Sheffield Wednesday. And Birmingham City also down to 10. They're 3-2 down, and Dion Sanderson has been given a straight red card at St Andrews. Here's Brennan Johnson trying to get a bit of Chris Richards down the right-hand side of the box, but Richards gets the better of him, puts it out for a throw. Brentford 2, Chelsea 1. Johan Visser, they come from behind at the GTEC to lead in the West London derby, and Peterborough back in front against Exeter 2-1 in League One. That's Kwame Poku. Corner for Kulusevski. Into the near post. Again it hits the first defender. They're all hitting the first defender. Doesn't matter who's taking them for Tottenham at the moment. But Kulusevski has it back on this near side, the right, with Spurs attacking the south stand. Works infield to the centre of the half, and James Maddison fires it, looking for Kulusevski, right-hand corner of the box, but he's overhit the pass along the deck, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Wycombe 2, Barnsley 3. Barnsley in front at Adams Park now through Corey O'Keefe, and Walsall back in front in League 2 against Doncaster. Jack Earing with the second goal for the Saddlers.
Barnsley dance are brilliant away from home. If they win to that, there'll be one defeat last 20 away in the league.
They are quite sensational this season. 5 unbeaten generally, starting the day in 4th, Barnsley. Now, Jordan Ayew is sat down just shy of the halfway line, so that's why players not restarted yet. You're listening to Tottenham versus Crystal Palace on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. And Odsonne Edouard, who made his debut, you might remember, about 3 years ago against Tottenham, came on as a substitute at Selhurst Park and scored 2 goals late on, so that Palace won 3-0 when Patrick Vieira was the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Looks like he's coming on. Will Hughes is also stripped and ready for action down beneath us. Oliver Glasner just having a chat with Adam Wharton and Jean-Philippe Mateta, whilst Ayew is back on his feet and walking awkwardly towards this near touchline. I think his afternoon is over. Indeed it is. And so we've got the wrong number on the board there. It says 20 for 9. Adam Wharton's already out there. So the assistant's now worked out what he's done. And the player, Adam Wharton, is now coming off. That's to allow Will Hughes to come on. But the other player coming off is Jordan Ayew to allow Odsonne Edouard to come on. Fleetwood 4, Wigan 2, incidentally. Jayden Stockley puts the Cod Army further clear at Highbury. No one in 5 for them. And Portsmouth, the League One leaders, they are 2-1 up against Oxford United. Christian Sadie. Stoke 2, Middlesbrough 0 in the Championship. Lewis Baker. Big scoreline for Stephen Schumacher and Stoke. Back underway. So Palace have made those 2 changes. Hughes and Edouard on. And Edouard immediately into action, getting chased down the left-hand side, but he's offside. And Spurs will get a free kick. 20 minutes to go on TalkSport 2, and Spurs are a goal down here.
Yeah, Edouard will just come in this left-hand side, behind Mateta. France are going over to the right-hand side. Again, it will just be a 5-4-1. Will Hughes going into that midfield area, just to see if he can protect the 3 Crystal Palace centre-halves.
Ball from Bissouma slid down the right-hand side, intended for Brennan Johnson. It was way out of play. I can't believe that Brennan Johnson thought he kept it in. Nowhere near. Wycombe's task against Barnsley has been made tougher. They're 3-2 down, and they're a man down. David Wheeler's been sent off for Wanderers. Carlisle 1, Reading 3. Carlisle get one back through John Mellish. Crew 2, Morecambe 1. Morecambe back in it with Joe Adams. And Palace are taking their time over the throw-in, as you can hear from the irritation around us here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Palace in front through Eberechi Eze's brilliant free kick early in the second half. Mateta is offside this time as he scrapped the possession just over the halfway line. He's trying to put his hands on the ball to stop Spurs taking a quick free kick. So we're getting a bit tetchy out there.
Well, you can understand there's a bit of frustration. That frustration and tension obviously coming from the Spurs fans. I'm not happy what they're seeing here this afternoon against Crystal Palace, because it's all been a little bit laboured. It's been a little bit predictable dance, isn't it? So now, obviously, with Ange Postecoglou making those changes, with James Maddison playing a little bit deeper, if he can get Spurs ticking.
18 minutes to go. Werner down the left-hand side of the area, pulls the ball back into the box. Maddison takes a touch, almost managed to snake his way through, but Joel Ward got it clear. And he stayed down inside his own 6-yard box, getting awkwardly back to his feet. Spurs still have it. Right-hand side of the box, Brennan Johnson tries to whip it across the face of goal, put behind for a corner kick. Another corner to Spurs at the south stand end, but Palace lead 1-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, just Brennan Johnson trying to swivel and get his cross in. Good defending from Tyrick Mitchell, just got his block in. James Maddison will come over to this right-hand side, out on his right foot. He's got one more chance to miss the first man.
He's got Perry Groves Woods ringing in his ears. Right-footed outswinger to come from Maddison. Packed 6-yard box. In it comes from Maddison. Headed up in the air by Van der Ven. Out comes Sam Johnston to punch clear, and punch clear well. And França tries to bring it away, but Kulusevski does brilliantly for Spurs. Work back into their own half, and Udogie will retrieve the loose ball for Tottenham.
There's a better corner from James Maddison. He missed the first man. Good defending from Anderson at the near post. To be fair to Sam Johnson, Palace goalkeeper made a really good decision to come and punch it and got good distance on it.
Werner plays a lovely ball in field. Udogie takes a touch 25 yards out, slips it into Son. Quick feet from Son, drags it across the face of goal and wide by about a yard. Didn't get the pace on the shot, but the feet to set up the shot on goal was quite delightful from Son Heung-min, but he just couldn't hit the target. Palace goal kick, 16 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Spurs 0, Palace 1.
Yeah, Dance, it was a Michael Flatley. Was it happy feet when he got the ball from Udogie? He just transferred it from his right foot to his left foot, just trying to smash it across Sam Johnson to his left-hand side. You see he's completely scuffed. It hit the top of the ball, didn't hit the target. From someone of Son's experience and talent, you think he'd hit the target.
Yellow card for Sam Johnston for delaying the goal kick. Away to our right-hand side, which means the goal kick's delayed because he's got to take it again. I don't know. Seems logical enough to me. Just over a quarter of an hour to go. Don't forget the phone in. Palace fans, you can ring Dean Saunders and Jamie O'Hara and talk about your first London derby away win in 10 attempts if it stays like this. 0371722 3344. And Spurs fans, you can moan and groan about the fact that the top four is slowly slipping away. But can Spurs do something about it now with Timo Werner? Left-hand corner of the box, plays it into the area, but only finds Jefferson Lerma, who calmly passes out. And now it's played out to the right-hand side for Mateta, who's trying to get the better of Van der Ven, but he's holding on to Van der Ven on that far side. Free kick.
Someone tied Mateta's shoelaces together, because every time the ball goes up to him, he's favourite to get it by about 5 yards. All of a sudden, Van der Ven just accelerates and just takes it off of his toes.
Down the right-hand side, Spurs coming forward with Brennan Johnson. Works it infield to Yves Bissouma, up to the edge of the area, poor touch from Son, and Joaquin Anderson will whack it clear. Plymouth nil, Ipswich 2. Kiefer Moore, their transfer window signing, has put Ipswich further clear at home park. Wycombe 2, Barnsley 4. Wycombe down to 10 men and now 2 goals behind. Conor Grant with the fourth for Barnsley. Motherwell back in front at Rangers in the Scottish Premiership. 2-1 with Dan Casey getting the second for the Mothers. Celtic don't play until tomorrow. Remember, Rangers have that advantage. 10 straight wins as well for Philippe Clement's side. Look down beneath us at the benches. Ange Postecoglou standing fairly impassively, as he usually does, at the edge of his technical area. Oliver Glasner, meantime, he's all fingers and thumbs and points and gesticulations as the throw comes in on this near side from Tyrick Mitchell. Spurs 0, Palace 1. Little nudge in the back on Jefferson Lerma for me by Kulusevski, but the referee waves play on. Anderson Oh, he hooks the ball straight up in the air when he was trying to head it clear. And Kulusevski wins it back on this near side, but then Tyreek Mitchell hits the ball up to halfway, ricochets back into his path. Basuma heads it down. It's all very scrappy on this near side, and eventually Joachim Andersen is put under pressure by Brennan Johnson, goes to Graham Andersen, and then Johnson turns inside him, but back comes Lerma. Oh, he's beaten Lerma. Johnson across the face of goal. Timo Werner! He missed a golden chance in the first half. He tucks it away in the second, and the Spurs players are sprinting back to halfway because they feel the job is only half done. Werner finally gets Spurs level. It's Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Well, that's not a fairy tale for Henderson. That's an absolute nightmare because it's the second time he's been caught on the ball, and he just jawed on the ball in the left back position. Brennan Johnson just made sure he just nicked the ball away from him, ends up turning inside him. Then Lerma comes back. He doesn't make the tackle properly. Can Brennan Johnson pick out the right pass? Yes, he can. He just rolls it across the 6-yard box. Timo Werner comes in with his right foot, puts it into the empty net to put Spurs back in the game at 1-1 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at Crystal Palace.
What a time to get your first goal for your lone club, to get them level with 13 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Grandstand finish in store here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Listen to the belief around us from the home support who think that the turnaround can be completed. Down the right-hand side of the box, it's slid away by Richards, but Emerson Royale down to the corner flag, gets a cross in, Johnson across the face of goal again, half cleared, out to the edge of the box, Kulusevski tees up Son at the edge of the area. He tried to thread it through the eye of a needle for Timo Werner, but Will Hughes manages to somehow get the ball clear. Palace under real pressure now. Basuma plays the ball in field for Maddison, trying to find Royale, who got into the area centrally, but Palace win it back, and then Edouard tries to find Mateta, and it just skipped off the top of Mateta's boot, and Tottenham have it back. 11 minutes to go, 1-1. Maddison down the right hand side looking for Brennan Johnson. Will he keep it in play by the corner flag? He will. Nicks it in field for Kulusevski, but out comes Chris Richards and wins possession for Crystal Palace, but the clearance is poor, only as far as Christian Romero, and then Maddison's fouled by Will Hughes in the centre of the Palace half. Free kick Tottenham, 1-1.
Well, you can hear the atmosphere dancing, you can feel it, can't you, in this stadium at the moment. The Spurs fans are full of belief that their team can go on and win this game. And to be fair, the changes that Ange Postecoglou has made with Brennan Johnson coming out on this right-hand side, James Maddison going a little bit deeper, have made all the difference.
Maddison's free kick for Tottenham, just to the right of centre. Rolls it out to the right wing, and Kulusevski further down the right-hand side of the box. Royale with a cross, cleared away for a throw. On this near side that Dejan Kulusevski will take quickly. In fact, he's left it for Emerson Royale. Norwich 1, Sunderland 0, Josh Sargent. Maddison lobs the ball into the box, headed in for a brilliant turnaround, and it's Christian Romero who wheels away in celebration. They kept the centre-halves forward. Maddison lobbed the ball into the box, and Christian Romero got up highest, 6 yards out, and flicked the ball past the goalkeeper, and the turnaround is complete. Once again, Spurs have come from behind at home. Tottenham 2, Palace 1. It's Christian Romero.
Dance, you want your big players to stand up and be counted. It's exactly what happened. James Maddison, that's a fantastic ball from James Maddison. As the ball's to take the throw in from Spurs' right hand side, it's thrown in from Emerson Royale to James Maddison. He's on the edge of the box, he gets his head up, and as the ball just sits up, it's a great flicked volley ball into the 6-yard box. He knows that Romero's going to be unmarked, just lifts it over the Crystal Palace defender with Joe Ward on the far post. Really good header from Romero, gets high above Ward, just nods it down, gives Sam Johnson absolutely no chance for it whatsoever. What a turnaround from Tottenham Hotspur. They had the belief, they had the know-how, they had the will, and Dance have found the spirit.
9 minutes to go, 4th Premier League goal of the season for Christian Romero, and now change is being made, and off is coming James Maddison. And Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is coming on. Pape Sarr also being introduced, and he's coming on for Timo Werner, who scored the equaliser. And listen to that round of applause for the two players. Werner, who scored the first, Maddison, who assisted the second. And they're coming off with 8 minutes to go. It's currently Tottenham 2, Crystal Palace 1. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Tottenham to win at 12-1 on, Palace to win at 45-1, the draw 7-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Walsall 3, Doncaster 1, Mo Farlon learned from West Bromwich Albion. Birmingham 3, Southampton 3. The 10 men are level through Juninho Bacuna. And Brentford 2, Chelsea 2 in the Premier League. Axel Disasi levels up for Chelsea. Spurs 2-1 up, and their tails very much up. Kulusevski on this right-hand side finds himself dispossessed by Mitchell. Now how did Palace respond? Had the lead through that brilliant Esse free kick. He's since gone off. I think that's fair enough because he's only just back from injury. But since he's gone off, Tottenham have gone through the gears.
To be fair, Dan, Palace have been architects of their own downfall because the first goal from Timo Werner, it's a shocking mistake from Anderson, and Lerma as well pulls out the tackle with Johnson, and then they switch off from the throw-in for Spurs' second goal, where Emerson Royal just throws it into James Maddison.
Edouard tried to find Mateta, but it just came off his heel, and Spurs win it back halfway line. Brought forward by Brennan Johnson, playing out on the left-hand side now for Tottenham. 7 minutes to go. You can hear when the Spurs go marching in, the slow chant around this huge cavernous stadium. What a different atmosphere it was to what it was not 10 minutes ago, when Spurs were behind and it was a bit agitated around us. But then Timo Werner and Christian Romero have seen to that. 6.5 minutes to go. It's out of play for a Spurs throw on halfway, which will be taken by Destiny Udogie, and he throws it back in for Mickey van der Ven. And now Spurs will bring the pace down a little bit. Højbjerg, his first involvement since coming on as a recent substitute, finds Bissouma inside their own half here at the moment. Tottenham just passing the ball between Bissouma and Højbjerg. Now they bring in Pape Sarr, who can drift down the inside left channel. Johnson outside him, receives it now. Brennan Johnson works it back to Højbjerg. Udogie finds Højbjerg's being closed down by Will Hughes. Infield it goes to Bissouma. Good possession football by Tottenham Hotspur. Romero tries to release Kulusevski down the right-hand side, tight to this near touchline, but Tyreek Mitchell gets the better of him, but then loses out as good working back from Kulusevski. Can he keep the ball in play at the byline? He can't. Son tried to find him. He's gone behind for a Palace goal kick. What have the Eagles got left in this last 5 minutes or so on TalkSport 2? 2-1 Spurs.
I think their wings have been clipped because I'm just looking at their body language. They don't look like they believe they can get themselves an equaliser here, because they were defending resolutely, and it's been a welcome to the Premier League for Oliver Glasner, obviously the Crystal Palace manager, because if your players switch off for a nanosecond in the Premier League, you're going to get punished. And exactly, that's the last thing you would have thought, that two of his most experienced players for Spurs' first goal, obviously Anderson and Lerma, will switch off completely.
Lovely turn from Will Hughes to get away from his man. Swindon 1, Harrogate 1, Charlie Austin for Swindon. Palace coming forward down the right-hand side with Munoz. Lays it infield to Joel Ward, tries to drive across into the box, brilliantly blocked by Brennan Johnson, but Chris Richards picks it up for Palace, plays it out to the left wing, works infield by Mitchell for Lerma. Richards again back to halfway for Joaquin Anderson. Richards again into the feet of Odson Edouard, out to the left wing, first time cross from Mitchell, hits Emerson Royal, who just fist bump as it goes out of play for a throw. Crew 2, Morecambe 3 in League 2. Mickey Demetriou, Morecambe have come from behind, they were 2-1 down, but now they lead 3-2 at the Alexandra Stadium. Palace 2-1 down with França. Faced up by Pape Sarr, works it back for Joaquin Anderson just inside the Spurs half, into the last 4 minutes of normal time. Hibs 2, Ross County 0 in Scotland. Dylan Levitt with the second for the Highbies. Here's Will Hughes for Crystal Palace, just ahead of the centre circle. Now it's worked out by Anderson to França. Munoz also down that far right hand side, gives it back to França, but a poor first touch allowed Papessar to get it half clear for Tottenham. Lobs it in field, but Will Hughes gets to the ball in front of Son Heung-min and wins it back for Palace. 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs have just gone a little bit passive in this last 3 or 4 minutes. It's been Crystal Palace's best spell of the game, actually, possession-wise, because obviously Højbjerg's come on, he play in that deep midfield area alongside Bissouma.
Lerman lobs it into the box, looking for the run of França. Good, strong goalkeeping from Vicario, and he's stayed down. Was caught slightly by França, but he's back on his feet. Tranmere 1, Sutton 0. Rob Apter with a late goal for Tranmere. Come on, Perry, you've got an inane stat on Sutton United, haven't you?
Sutton United have not won on a Saturday away in the league since February 2023. 17 games, it will now be 18 if they get beat.
I'm here all week.
Thanks very much.
Like that. Shrewsbury.
Is that inane enough for you?
No, that's great. That's top quality. I'd have told you if it was inane. Shrewsbury 0, Blackpool 2. Hayden Coulson with a second for the Seasiders to get all 3 points at the Greenhouse Meadow. Now the ball's ricochetted into the path of Son Heung-min. He's ahead of Richards. Son into the area to settle it! Was there ever any doubt when Son Heung-min races clear? He tucks it away into the bottom corner for his 13th Premier League goal of the season, and the points stay in North London. Spurs 3, Crystal Palace 1. Inevitably, it's Son Heung-min.
Dance, that's not congratulations to Chris Richards, because he doesn't know that Son Heung-min is just lorrying behind him. As you said, it's a ricochet. Son is 1v1 against Sam Johnson. There is absolutely no doubt in any Spurs fan in this stadium that Son wasn't going to score, because as he's run through, he's just composed himself. He's run diagonally across Chris Richards. As he comes out, Sam Johnson, he actually gives him the eyes. Sam Johnson thinks he's going to go to his right hand side. Son puts his head up and he just bends it inside Sam Johnson's left hand post, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Fantastically well taken goal from Son Heung-min. Spurs put the game to bed, 3-1 up against Crystal Palace.
Well, that's 10 goal involvements in his last 10 appearances, whether goals or assists for Son Heung-min. 4 goals, 5 assists before today. But that showed Chris Richards a clean pair of heels as he raced through, and he stroked it home. Double change for Spurs, having taken this 3-1 lead. Dane Scarlett and Gio Lo Celso are going to come on. Yves Bissouma is the first player coming off to allow Dane Scarlett, the academy graduate, get to score a senior goal for Tottenham. Made a few appearances for Ipswich on loan last season. And there's going to be a huge round of applause in a second, because they'll see the number 7's gone up on the board. Son Heung-min's coming off to allow Scarlett to come on. And he's going to give the captain's armband to Christian Romero, who did put Spurs in front. Little hug from Son for Romero. Little high five with Lo Celso. And Son takes the acclaim of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Well, he's the hero now. He's the main man. He was feeding on scraps in the first half, Dance, but you know full well if he gets a chance with the quality he had, he hit the post earlier in the second half with his right foot, and then he just keeps running in behind. He's always alert, he's always on the shoulder of the last defender, exactly as it was for his goal. Never any doubt when he went through. As I said, I looked at the Crystal Palace players' body language, Dance, when they went 2-1 down. They didn't really look like they believed they could get themselves back in the game, and now they're completely out of it.
7 minutes of added time that we've just gone into now on TalkSport 2. Don't forget to get your calls in, Tottenham fans, to your former player Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders on the game day phone. It starts at 5:30 on TalkSport. You can talk about that massive game that now looms large next weekend, next Sunday against Aston Villa, who play later against Luton Town. The gap, as it stands, before Villa kick off at Kenilworth Road, is down to 2 points for that 4th place in the Premier League and Champions League qualification. Long way to go yet. Ball given away by Spurs. just outside their own penalty area. Lerma slides it into Edouard, tried to guide it infield for Will Hughes, but got too much on it, and Spurs clear. Fulham 3, Brighton 0. Adama Traore settles it for Fulham in stoppage time there at Craven Cottage. Still 0-0, I think, between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. That's the only goalless game we've got so far in the Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs.
I think that's a little bit of a bad ground, isn't it? City ground for
they've
Liverpool.
not got a good record there, no. You're right. And they lost there last year. Awoniyi scored the winner, I think.
They haven't won in the last 17 top flight games at the City ground, Liverpool. 1984.
Now that's a stat.
Ian Rush.
It's starting to sound like Dean Saunders now. Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, Craig Bellamy, and all that. Spurs coming down the left-hand side. They're 3-1 up. And trying to get the better of Joel Ward. There's a rainbow just forming over the top of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. West Ham look to have won it at Everton. Thomas Souček makes it Everton 1, West Ham 2 in added time at Goodison Park. Late goals going into the Premier League, but the points already appear to be safe here. We played 2.5 minutes of the 7 that John Brooks has added on, and Spurs have won a free kick for a foul on Van der Ven, and they lead 3-1 here.
Do you think the tone of a change from the Tottenham fans who are thinking of phoning up Champion Dean of 77 minutes?
Just a tad. Well, it's not like there were people screaming out, with it 1-0. There's still belief inside this stadium that Spurs could turn it around, because they saw it very recently here, the game we did against Brighton and Hove Albion.
And to be fair as well, there was still belief amongst the Tottenham players, because the first half was boring dance, to be fair, wasn't it? It was all lateral in front of Crystal Palace. Didn't look like it was going to score. Then Postecoglou makes the changes. James Maddison goes a little bit deeper. We said Brendan Johnson comes out on this right wing. Timo Werner goes wider on the left.
Yeah.
And they're brilliant managerial changes.
Here's Dane Scarlett looking to play a reverse ball downfield to get Emerson Royal into the game, and Royal's way downfield for somebody who's meant to be an orthodox right back. Edouard guides the ball out to this near touch line. It was kept in by Mitchell, but Spurs have won it back. Højbjerg and Royal. Newcastle have sealed the points at St James's Park. Newcastle 3, Wolves 0. Tino Livramento with Newcastle's third. That's a proper response. I saw them go through in the FA Cup in the week at Blackburn, Newcastle, but they wanted a league response to the defeat at Arsenal last weekend. They've certainly got that today. Bolton have beaten Cambridge by 2-0. Stoke have beaten Middlesbrough. That's a big win for Stephen Schumacher. They'd lost 6 of that out of their last 7, Stoke, and they win at the Bet365. Every completed Spurs pass being given a cheer as the ball's worked out to the left-hand side, and Brandon Johnson. Udogie goes ahead of him. Spurs 3-1 up, and they've won a throw as Udogie is slid into by Joel Ward. They're going to take their time over this stone, of course, Spurs. So next up is Villa and Fulham away in succession before a home game against Faker Others Luton, away at West Ham, and home to Nottingham Forest. Norwich have beaten Sunderland by 1-0. That Josh Sargent goal enough for all 3 points for David Wagner's men in the Championship. Little back here from Kulusevski, sets Saraway down the right-hand side. Tries to worm his way into the area. There's enough red and blue shirts back for Palace to smuggle it clear. And then Højbjerg protecting the ball on this near touchline from Edouard. Does brilliantly to roll his man. Great strength from Højbjerg against a man a good half a foot taller than him. And it's worked out to the Spurs left and Udogie. 5 minutes of the minimum 7 at the end of this match have elapsed. Spurs 3, Palace 1. Romero, who got the second and is now the captain of the side, with Son having been substituted. Picked up by Lo Celso. Another welcome return to regular football for Gio Lo Celso. Made his first appearance since early January here against Wolves last time out, back from loan at Villarreal last season. Long ball downfield looking for Mateta for Palace, and then down goes Lo Celso under pressure from Hughes. That's a free kick. to Tottenham Hotspur, taken quickly by Lo Celso to get Papisar away down the left-hand side. Still a chance for Spurs to extend their lead further. Brennan Johnson, left-hand corner of the penalty area, trying to get the better of Munoz. Hits the ball against Joel Ward. Munoz will not get it clear. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Darwin Nunez on 99 minutes has scored for Liverpool at the City Ground to claim all 3 points for the Premier League leaders, and look like they're going to make it 6 straight wins. And West Ham have got a third at Everton. Everton 1, West Ham 3. Edson Alvarez getting the points safe. Millwall have beaten Watford, and the full-time whistle goes here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and once again Spurs have had to come from behind to claim all 3 points here. They've done it against Palace to go back within 2 points of a Champions League place before Villa kick off at Luton. They were behind early in the second half with a quite sumptuous free kick from Eberechi Eze, curled in from the edge of the area, quite beautifully hit from the returning Palace midfielder, and that got this place all jittery. But then, with 13 minutes to go, Joachim Andersen made an error outside his own penalty area. Brendan Johnson seized upon it, sent the ball across the face of the area, and Timo Werner slid in to score his first goal for his new club. 3 minutes after that, Christian Romero headed home from a lobbed centre from outside the box by James Maddison. And then the inevitable Son Heung-min goal came late on as a ricochet deflected into his path, and Son, who hit the post earlier in the half, did not miss as he struck the ball past Sam Johnston and into the bottom corner. Palace were ahead and looked like they were going to end their London derby hoodoo on the road, but in the end the points are staying in this part of London. Celebrations begin at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's finished. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Crystal Palace 1.